From royal nuptials to total solar eclipses, you won't believe what all happened on June. As we continue our countdown of the most spectacular days in history, there's no denying that June is one of the most action-packed months of them all. But what about June specifically? What did we get up to on June? Well, let's find out with 10 things you didn't know about June. Number 10. Happy birthday to King George. Born on June 4, 1738, King George III would become the longest reigning British monarch until Queen Elizabeth surpassed him in September 2015. He inherited the throne from his father at age 22 and would reign for 59 years. While he's remembered as being somewhat unhinged towards the end of his life, a fact that inspired the recent Netflix series, The Crown, George was actually a competent ruler in his younger years who presided over a period of great prosperity for Britain. Sadly, mental illness would eventually take hold of him, which it did after he turned 60. It was said that he suffered from bouts of paranoia, delusions, and hallucinations, even believing that he was being attacked by foreigners and that the house was on fire. For many years, he didn't leave his palace at Windsor and famously talked to trees and flowers. Number 9. More royalty. And speaking of the British monarchy, it wasn't just kings that were born in June. Princess Margaret, Queen Elizabeth's younger sister, was also born in June. In fact, she celebrated her birthday on August 21, 1930. She became known for her rebellious streak, including smoking, drinking, and having affairs, something that the strict royal family disapproved of. She was also incredibly close to her mother, the famous Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. Once, when Margaret was scolded by her mother for smoking, the Queen Mother replied, "I'm afraid I can't scold you. I've never been able to scold any of my children. I'm afraid I'm not made of the right stern stuff." As an adult, Princess Margaret would go on to have 2 children of her own, but her romantic life was less than ideal. After she eloped with her first love, Group Captain Peter Townsend, the family disapproved and forced her to choose between him and her royal duties. She chose duty and subsequently married the photographer Anthony Armstrong Jones, who later became Lord Snowdon. That marriage also ended badly. Number 8. Hollywood royalty. There's also some serious Hollywood royalty that was born in June. Angelina Jolie was born on June 4, 1975. She grew up in a very artistic family with both parents being actors. Her mother was the famous actress Marceline Bertrand, while her father was the somewhat less famous but equally successful actor Jon Voight. From an early age, Angelina knew she wanted to pursue acting, appearing in several commercials as a child. She would continue acting throughout high school and then attend Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute in New York before moving to Los Angeles. She's since appeared in several hit films, including Hackers, Girl, Interrupted, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Maleficent, for which she was paid a whopping $20 million. Angelina has also become famous for her humanitarian work, particularly as a goodwill ambassador for the UN High Commissioner for Refugees. Number 7. Hollywood premiere. Speaking of Hollywood, it wasn't just actors that were born in June. On June 1998, the world got a glimpse into the life of a man whose whole life was a TV show when the movie The Truman Show premiered. Written by Andrew Niccol and starring Jim Carrey, the film is a satire about a man named Truman Burbank who unknowingly lived his whole life on a reality TV show. The show is secretly watched by millions, with Truman's entire town being nothing more than a movie set. The film received critical acclaim with many praising Carrey's performance. However, the film's themes of privacy violation and media manipulation proved somewhat controversial. Despite this, the film went on to gross over $317 million against a budget of only $75 million. It currently sits at number 79 on IMDb's Top 250 Films list. Number 6, the oldest animal fossil. You'll never believe what was discovered in June 1856. What if I told you that the oldest animal fossil ever discovered in the United States was found on June 1856 in Ohio? Well, it's true. During the construction of a well near the village of in southwestern Ohio, workers uncovered a strange rock that looked like a giant sea creature. They showed the rock to a local professor, Edward D. Cope, who realized that they had just stumbled upon a fossil of a prehistoric monster that lived 300 million years ago. The fossil turned out to be the oldest animal skeleton ever discovered in North America and remains so to this day. To think that America could have potentially unearthed an even older fossil is kind of crazy. Number 5. A most unusual eclipse. On June 1769, an unusual double astronomical event took place. First, there was a transit of Venus, an event that occurs when the planet Venus passes between the Earth and the Sun. This can only happen from the Earth's reference frame, and only occurs twice a year, once in the morning sky, and again in the evening. The next transits of Venus will occur in December 2042 and January 2043. But June 1769 would also see another incredible phenomenon, a total solar eclipse. Just hours after the transit of Venus, the Moon passed between the Earth and the Sun, plunging the world into darkness for 3 to 4 minutes. At the time, the transit of Venus was seen as an omen of great fortune, and French astronomer Jean-Sylvain Bailly was so enamored with the day's events that he declared it the most important day in the history of astronomy. So, if you're born in June, you may want to consider yourself lucky. Number 4. The last official Civil War widow. June is also significant as the day that Helen Viola, the last official widow of a Civil War soldier, died. Viola was the widow of Francis B. Viola, who died in 1936. Viola herself died at the age of 93 on June 19, 2010, in Yeffank, New York. She was laid to rest in Long Island National Cemetery next to her husband, where she received full military honors. Her death marked the end of an era, with no other widows of Civil War soldiers still alive today. Number 3. The first U.S. Open Final. Perhaps you're more interested in sports than anything else. If so, June might be your month. It was on June 1881 that the first ever U.S. Open Final took place at Newport Casino in Rhode Island. The championship was contested by 2 future tennis Hall of Famers, Richard Sears and James Dwight. With the match lasting only 23 minutes, Sears won 6-1, 6-2, 6-3. Since its humble beginnings in 1881, the U.S. Open has grown exponentially, now being one of the most prestigious tennis tournaments in the world. It's hard to imagine that such a legendary tournament started off with so few spectators that Richard Sears could win without dropping a single set. Number 2. When Vanilla Ice Went Gold. Let's move on to music for a minute, shall we? Who here remembers the rapper Vanilla Ice? Well, if you do, you'll be happy to hear that his biggest hit, Ice Ice Baby, officially went gold on June 1990. Originally released in 1990, the song was the lead single from his debut album, To the Extreme. It reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making him the first rapper to have a number 1 song on the chart. The song's iconic beat was sampled from Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie, which led to Bowie being credited as a co-writer of the song. Vanilla Ice would capitalize on his success with To the Extreme, which went quadruple platinum. But his follow-up albums failed to replicate the same success, and he's largely faded into obscurity. But every now and then you'll hear someone shout, "Stop, collaborate, and listen." Number 1. The worst day in NASA history. Not all days in June are good ones. Take June 1983, for example. That day will forever be known as the worst day in NASA history. On that day, a routine inspection of the space shuttle, as Challenger, revealed a problem with one of the O-rings that sealed the joint between the rocket boosters and the external fuel tank. Despite this discovery, managers at Marshall Flight Center gave the green light for the launch anyway, a decision that ultimately cost 7 astronauts their lives. During the launch, hot gases escaped through the hole in the O-ring, causing the rocket to explode 73 seconds into flight. All 7 crew members were killed, making it the deadliest accident in space exploration history. An investigation would later find that a combination of factors led to the disaster, including faulty O-rings, leaks in the booster, and organizational problems within NASA. The disaster prompted major changes at NASA as the agency worked to prevent a similar tragedy from happening again. Now, it's time to hear from you. Which fact about June surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.